I couldn't believe it when I heard those words come out of Raymond Torres's mouth, still that same calm, confident tone, as if he were doing me a favor. "You're too focused on results, Natalie," he said, eyes glancing over the papers on the table like his judgment was purely objective. "My name is Natalie, 35 years old, and after 6 years of relentless work at Phoenix Analytics, I was left wondering, since when did being focused on results become a crime? I had helped secure the biggest contract of the previous year, optimized operations to cut company costs by over 30%, and salvaged at least 3 projects that were on the verge of collapse. Every success story, every impressive figure, I had a hand in it. But today, the promotion went to Brianna, the lazy one, the one who always showed up late, left early, and spent her energy laughing loudly at meetings and liking every one of the CEO's social media posts. She's just easier to work with. She brings positive energy, Raymond said with a smile, as if that somehow outweighed all the tangible results I had delivered. I swallowed the lump rising in my throat. It wasn't that I didn't understand how office politics worked. It was that, deep down, I had once believed that somewhere, somehow, competence would still matter. I was wrong. Under the table, my fists clenched tight, but outwardly I stayed composed. There was no point arguing. They had made their decision. Not the best performer, but the best flatterer. At that moment, amidst the cold clicking of Raymond's pen, I realized this was no longer my place. I wasn't going to beg for validation from people who couldn't even recognize true value. I smiled slightly, my first smile during that whole meeting. Not because I found it funny, but because I had already made my decision. I wasn't going to beg. I would leave and let them realize on their own exactly what they had thrown away. That evening, as I walked out of Phoenix Analytics one final time with my now useless employee badge tucked in my coat pocket, I headed straight into the Manhattan night. The cold wind sliced through the streets, but I hardly felt it. The chill inside me was far stronger. I wandered through a few streets aimlessly until I found a late-night coffee shop. A bitter espresso sat untouched in front of me as I finally stared reality in the face. 6 years of youth. 6 years of sacrifice, hard work, loyalty discarded because I didn't know how to make small talk. They didn't fire me because I lacked ability. They simply didn't value the right things, or worse, they saw it and chose to ignore it. I opened my laptop, logged into a private folder I had been maintaining for over 3 years. A fully developed project management system I had built on my own time. Not to prove anything to them, but because deep down, I always believed that one day, I wouldn't have to rely on anyone's approval. Scrolling through the drafts, the lines of code, the data models I had created, I realized something crystal clear. What I had, my knowledge, my skills, my resilience, no one could ever take away. No title. No position. Not Brianna with her fake smiles. Not Raymond with his empty words. No one at Phoenix Analytics. Only I could define my worth. I thought about the midnight crisis emails I had handled, the contracts I saved at the last minute, the silent process improvements I created without ever needing my name attached. People like me, the quiet carriers, the ones who put results before office theatrics, we aren't failures. We just need the right stage. When I stepped out of that coffee shop that night, I left behind a lot at Phoenix Analytics. Blood, sweat, sleepless nights, blind loyalty. But I took something far more valuable with me. Experience, independent thinking, and a fully patented system, one that would change the course of my life forever. I gripped my bag tighter inside, a copy of the patent approval. A small smile broke across my lips. They thought they eliminated me. The truth was, I was just getting started. The very next morning, before the city fully woke up, I was sitting in the office of an intellectual property lawyer. Bryce Coleman, an old friend from grad school, now ran his own firm in Brooklyn. He wasn't surprised when I laid out my situation. He simply opened the patent documents, reading carefully, nodding with each page. "Phoenix Analytics had no idea you filed this patent?" Bryce asked, eyes gleaming with amusement. "Of course not," I said. I built it on my own time, using my own resources. I filed it a month ago. It was approved last week. 100% legit. Bryce grinned. Then, Natalie, you're now the legal owner of the platform they've unknowingly relied on for the past 2 years. We spent nearly 3 hours mapping out every possible scenario. Bryce assured me, as long as I hadn't used company equipment or proprietary assets, they had no legal claim. That afternoon, I sat quietly at a cafe in Chelsea, ordered a latte, and opened my laptop. No rants. No bitter LinkedIn posts. Instead, I composed my first few emails, discreet, professional, reaching out to select former clients. No mention of my departure from Phoenix. Just a simple introduction. I was launching a new consulting service focused on operational excellence, built around my new platform. The responses came faster than I expected. We heard you developed a phenomenal internal tool. We'd love to learn more. Phoenix isn't what it used to be. Natalie, tell us how you can help. I also reached out to Robert Kim, CEO of Solstice Tech, Phoenix's biggest competitor. He had once invited me to lunch a year ago, but loyalty kept me at Phoenix. This time, things were different. The call lasted barely 15 minutes, but Robert immediately scheduled a private meeting for the next morning. I want to hear about what you've built, he said. It sounds like Phoenix didn't have the vision to keep you. I closed my laptop, my heart racing not with fear, but with excitement. No more chains. No more limits. Everything they once dismissed about me, my focus, my patience, my meticulousness, would now become the very weapons of my comeback. 3 weeks after leaving Phoenix Analytics, my phone lit up with a familiar number. I hesitated, then answered. Hey, Natalie, it's Raymond. My former boss's voice crackled, tinged with tension. I kept my tone even. I'm listening. We reevaluated, Raymond stammered. We realized your contribution to our operations was bigger than we thought. I let the silence stretch. We'd love to have you back, he finally said. Senior director role, higher salary, signing bonus. I smirked to myself, remembering his smug face during that performance review when he said I was too focused on results and Brianna had better energy. Now that their metrics had crashed, their biggest client had left, and Brianna couldn't even manage a basic report? I appreciate the offer, I said smoothly, but I'll have to decline. Raymond sounded desperate. Just give us a chance to prove we value you. I squeezed the phone tighter. Chance? I repeated, voice calm but cutting. I gave Phoenix 6 years of chances, and you threw it away in 6 minutes for a fake smile. Raymond rushed to add, We'll adjust the offer, we'll give you equity. I shook my head, though he couldn't see it. You don't get it, I said slowly. I was never chasing a title. I was looking for respect. And Phoenix never gave me that. A heavy silence fell. I'm building something bigger now, I finished. And this time, no one defines my value but me. Before he could respond, I hung up. I leaned back, looking out at the afternoon sun washing over the city. I didn't need them anymore. And now, they were the ones who would regret. 1 week later, I officially launched Reyes Strategy Solutions, my own operations and innovation consulting firm. The first office wasn't fancy, just a corner in a Brooklyn co-working space. Thin glass walls, a scratched wooden desk, a slightly worn leather chair. But when I set down the simple nameplate, Natalie Reyes, founder and CEO, I knew. I was finally starting on my own terms. Julia, a former overlooked colleague from Phoenix, was the first to call. I heard you started your own firm, she said. I'm looking for a place where results matter more than smiles. If you have space, I'm in. No hesitation, I hired her as head of operations. Then came Marcus, the data analyst I once mentored. Then Elena, once dismissed for being too quiet. We had no glittering signs. No cocktail launches. But we had something Phoenix Analytics had long lost. Faith in real value. Our first project landed faster than I expected. One of Phoenix's former clients, the CEO of Technova Solutions, called me. We know who really made the difference, he said simply. In just 2 months, Reyes Strategy Solutions secured 3 major contracts. Word spread across New York's startup world about us, a small team delivering extraordinary results. We didn't sell colorful slideshows. We delivered real solutions. And the results were undeniable. Every morning, walking into that little office, seeing Julia deep in reports, Marcus mapping datasets, Elena double-checking processes, I felt a quiet, fierce pride. No one needed to allow me to shine anymore. I was building something real from scratch, with the very hands once underestimated. And this was just the beginning. 9 months after founding, Reyes Strategy Solutions wasn't just a small team in a co-working corner anymore. We had our own bright, spacious floor near Union Square. New team members, analysts, system engineers, project managers joined from big and small firms alike. They came for the same reason: to be valued for their real work. But the true victory wasn't just internal. It came from the headlines. Phoenix Analytics loses another 25% of clients following leadership departures. Phoenix Analytics stock plummets to 5-year low. Phoenix fails to deploy new operational system after losing key patent. I read those headlines while sitting in a boardroom at Technova, where their CEO smiled warmly after signing a 5-year deal with my company. My heart didn't feel angry anymore. Just peaceful. I didn't wish them failure. But it was a confirmation. They had bet on the wrong things. And undervaluing people always carries a cost. Meanwhile, Reyes Strategy Solutions was featured in a local business magazine, The Silent Builders: How Reyes Strategy Solutions is Changing the Way Businesses Operate. For the first time, no one asked me to smile more to be heard. No one needed me to crack jokes to get promoted. I was recognized, not because I was likable, but because I delivered. That was the real victory. A quiet victory. A victory built on substance, not fake laughter in biased meeting rooms. One sunny June afternoon, while preparing for our fall strategy workshop, I received an email from Raymond Torres. Subject: Proposal for collaboration. I smiled slightly, reading the opening lines. Natalie, we believe Phoenix Analytics and Reyes Strategy Solutions could achieve great things together by leveraging each other's strengths. I leaned back, gazing at the wide blue sky outside. A year ago, they discarded me for not fitting their mold. Now they were reaching out because they had no other choice. I typed back without hesitation. Thank you for reaching out. This time, you don't get to use my work without seeing the person behind it. Wish you all the best. No bitterness, no revenge, just a lesson delivered. I hit send, stood up, and walked back into the office. The young, brilliant team looked up at me, trusting, energized. They weren't following an old story. They were following me, steadfast, creative, unapologetically real. And I knew, true victory isn't crushing those who doubted you. True victory is building something they could never even dream of and could never replicate. And I had done it, just by moving forward on my own path. Share your thoughts below, hit like, and don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories. See you in the next video.